Again, here we are. Planks, strength, exercise class number 13, Scolio-Pilates, since we've done the lockdown. So this is week 13 that we've been doing this. So many of you have been here every week, and thank you. I really appreciate the company and the inspiration, especially the inspiration. All right, so let's start with breathing. Oh, I'm gonna I'll put my glasses on a little later just to make sure nobody's trying to get in. But from here, I'd like you to just take your hands on your ribs here. And if you can see yourself in the corner of your, in the little video, make sure that your shoulders aren't doing what mine are doing, which is kind of like swaying off to the side a little bit. Make sure they're right on top of your hips. Try and bring them as much over the hips as you can. Trying to keep a, basically a box, I guess you could call it. So my shoulders, I go straight down to my hips. Because with scoliosis, we tend to want to be here or there. And I might not be perfectly over my hips here, but that's okay. Close enough, right? And so hands on the ribs. And then I'd like you to take just a little breath in through the nose. And then exhaling out. And as you exhale out, you're going to lift the magic diamond. And the magic diamond is that gusset in your pants, right? And then that diamond lifts up. So basically, we're talking about a Kegel exercise. So lifting up and then inhaling and then exhaling out through the nose or through the mouth. Don't make a big deal out of this, everyone, okay? So we're just inhaling very low into the abdominals, very slow. And then we're going to actually exhale the same way. Very slow, just let the breath come out. It's almost like it's just floating out of the body. And then when you need to, inhale. Very slow, very low in the abdominals, and then exhaling. Great work. And last time, inhaling, low and slow, and exhaling. And letting everything come out. All right, give it a little wiggle. And then from here, we'll start with our very first muscle cylinder exercise. It'll be very easy. Give the shoulders a little wiggle for me. Give the head a little wiggle. Give the hips a little wiggle. So things, if you've been sitting at your desk or if you've been static for the last hour or so, just get a little bit of blood moving here. And slap the legs. Okay, from here, our very first muscle cylinder for the day, leading into the planks, will be just to place the fists behind the hips, and you're just going to stretch up here. So we stretch up to the sky, and that little bit of elongation, I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but as I stretch up, it actually moves my shoulders a little bit closer to being over my hips as opposed to off to one side. And so I'm going to inhale. And when I inhale, I'm going to stretch my left rib into my left arm and then exhaling. Or I should say, inhale and stretch the hollow rib towards your arm. That's the tide pull side. And exhaling, let the air float away. And then inhaling. And exhale, let the air float away. And then keep exhaling, keep blowing that air out. A little more pressure on the exhale. And now inhale. Open your ribs on the side of the hollow, on the side of the tide pool towards the arm. Let the air float away. And then ask air to go out a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. Last time, inhaling. Open the ribs on the side of the hollow into your arm. Good job, everybody. And then give it a little wiggle. Okay, so from here, let's go into a muscle cylinder. So the reason we're focusing on planks today isn't because they're easy for scoliosis, because it's actually quite the opposite. Planks and scoliosis are quite difficult. So if you're sitting on the floor, your legs are going to go out in front of you. If this is not a position that you can maintain without falling back a bit, then you really are going to need to find something to sit on. You can run and get a stack of books. You can, I have a yoga block here that I'll use today. Or what I could use is a chair, right? And I'm gonna do that today so I can face you. So you can do this with your feet sitting out in front of you, stretched out in front of you, or sitting on a yoga block, feet stretched out in front of you, or find a chair. If you're on a chair, or if you're on the floor, of course, the hands are gonna go beside you. Your fingers are shaped like tents. You're reaching up and you're elongating. So in this position, I'm gonna walk my fingers away just a little bit so I can bring my shoulders away from my ears. And I'm going to imagine that the spine is getting pulled out through my body and straight up to the sky. Okay, so reaching straight up, really, really long. And everything else melts away from that. So not everything is going up with the spine today, right? Sometimes we do that to get the weight of the ribs off of the hips, but instead everything else melts away. Super long here, and I'm gonna push with my left hand to rock myself to the right. So here I am tipping and then coming back. And then I'm gonna tip off the other way. I'm gonna use my fingers to just give me a little push and come back. Keep the ribs close to the spine, and then you're going to tip and come back and tip and come back. Keep going there. I'd like you to tip towards your right and come back. And then I'd like you to tip towards your left and come back. One more time each side, tipping and back. Use your fingers, tipping and back. Now, give it a little wiggle. We're gonna do this one more time. Because what I can see in some of your videos is that it's less of a tip and more of a side bend. So this is definitely not a side bend. We're trying really hard to keep the spine actually quite still here. So we're changing its position in space, but we're not trying to side bend and we're not trying to rotate. So for just a moment, take your thumbs and put them in your ribs, your low ribs, and put your fingers, your first finger on your hip bones. And as you're gonna have to push down with your left leg to go to the right. So whether you're on the floor or seated, push with your left to go to the right. And do you feel how that tension wants to change a little bit? Try and keep it exactly the same. So as we go to the right, don't let this collapse happen. Push open with your finger and thumb if you need to. That's it. And come back to center. Keep this push, keep this brace happening, fingers to thumb. And then you're going to push with your right leg or push down with the right leg to tip to your left. And then come back to center. Push with your left heel and you tip right. You can push with the left heel whether you're seated on the floor or seated in a chair, and back to center, and then tip and back to center. You have one more on each side. Keep going there, keep going there. And then last time, tipping left and come back. All right, give it a little wiggle. Now, if you're starting to feel tension in the back while you're doing that, just make it a little bit smaller, okay? Keep the elongation happening, but make it a little smaller. I think I'd like to keep the theme of the fingers and the thumbs here so that we don't go into the side bend, because we're gonna make this just a little more, a little harder, because we're gonna hold it for a moment, okay? So here we go. My feet are firmly pressing into the floor here, and I'm going to push a little more with my left leg, and I'm going to tip. I'm going to open up the ribs on the right, make sure the ribs are open on the left, and I'm going to hold this for a breath. I'm going to inhale, opening the ribs, and exhaling. Good job. Inhaling, and exhaling. One more time. Inhaling, and exhaling. Come back to center. Other side. Nice and long. Fingers to thumbs, hips to ribs, and over you go. No side bending, nice strong stomachs. If you find like find yourself side bending and can't help it, just come back a little bit. Don't go so far. Inhaling here, good. Open those ribs on the side of the hollow and exhaling. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Last time. And exhaling. Give it a little wiggle. I'll let this person in, and we are going to do this again, but only 2 breaths on each side, okay? So fingers to thumbs, super tall, and give it a push. Over you go. Little breath in, and exhaling. And again, inhaling, keep going, and exhaling. Inhaling, I guess that was 3, and exhaling. And now, side bending to the left. We'll do 3 breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Last time. Inhale and exhaling. Good job, everybody. Give it a little wiggle. And let me get my notes here, make sure I'm not leaving anything out. And then from here, let's go to quadruped, and we'll start that series, and then on to side planks. So let's go on to all 4s here. It's like a modified child's pose or prayer pose. And from this position, I'm going to tuck my toes under, and then I'm going to reach my fingers away. So my shoulders are not going to start over my hands. They're going to come back here. And then I'm going to reach myself back so that my hips are reaching past my heels, or they're trying to anyway. And my stomach is going to come closer to my spine. My ribs come closer to my spine. And then you come up and forward here. And again, pulling back, stomach to the spine. Nice and long, really pulling here. And then we come forward. And again, inhale, let's not move. Exhale, keep your hands, your fingers are super sticky. Don't let them slide. They're trying to pull you back in the other direction so you can stretch your spine. And then you come back. Last time like that. And coming back. Okay, we'll come back to that in a bit. Let's go ahead and lie down on our, on the side of your sand dune. So remember when my back was to you, this is the side of my thoracic sand dune or my upper back sand dune. So actually we're going to lie down on the opposite side. So if this is my right side is where my sand dune is, I'm going to lie down on my left. So locate your sand dune and lie on the other side. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go down here, and we're going to start with the side plank here, or I'm sorry, with just a side line. In a moment, I have this jump board here today because we're going to use that. So if you are near a wall and can push your mat near a wall, we're going to be using that before too long. So from here, I have my ribs down on the floor, and I'm going to reach my top arm overhead and then bring it to the sky and snug my shoulder in towards my ribs. From here, I'm going to reach up and down for 10 and 9 and 8, stomach to the spine. Bring your ribs towards the spine as well. And 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. So that is definitely a type of side plank. And then we're going to make it a little bit more like a side plank. We're going to straighten both legs. And the feet are reaching as if they're reaching for that board that's there. So I'm standing. I'm going to snug my shoulder in towards my ribs, pull my ribs to my spine, and I'm going to do this again. 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good job, everybody. Okay, go ahead and come on up to sitting. Give it a little wiggle. and you're gonna lie back down on the other side. And the other side will be the side of your sand dune. So we were just lying on the side of the tide pool. Now we go to the side of the sand dune. So same thing, bottom leg stays bent. You're gonna come down here. Now, instead of this arm staying to the sky, it's gonna reach over your head. So my arm could rest on this board, but I'm actually gonna reach it past the board. My stomach is to my spine, my ribs are to my stomach, and then I'm going to take 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3. Lots of stomach work here, everybody. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that your ribs aren't allowed to touch the floor on this side. So on the other side, the ribs are trying to get into the floor. And on this side, we don't want them to touch the floor. Straighten both legs. And now from here, the top leg. My bottom leg is just ever so slightly floating off of the ground. And I'm going to take 10 more of these. 10 and 9, good job. And 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Roll onto your back. Give it a little wiggle. And we'll kind of do a reverse of that for just a moment. And we're going to rock the hips so that the waist is going to flatten onto the mat. And then we rock the hips so the waist comes away from the mat. And we rock the waist down. And we rock the waist away. And we rock. And we rock. So back and forth twice more. Dee da 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 da. And da 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 dee. And again, down and away. Okay. While we're here, and before we go back to our planks, let's go ahead and practice the piano keys, okay? So let me turn my other side to face you so you can see my left side. And I'm going to lie down on my back. So go ahead and you can lie down there. And my left side is my tide pool in my upper back, okay? So I want you to lie on the side of your tide pool, or sorry, you're lying on your back, and we're going to be focusing on that tide pool. So we're going to straighten the opposite leg. So my tide pool is on my left in my thoracic, so I'm going to straighten my opposite leg. This is going to help me with balance in just a moment. I'm going to take both arms up to the ceiling, and I'm going to drop both shoulders down. And I'm going to reach both up, and I'm going to drop both down. And if this is your first time and all of this is brand spanking new to you, it's okay. Just play with the movement, see where it takes you. And all of these little nuances eventually start to come together. Don't expect it all to happen today. Just kind of play with it and see how it goes. Now from here, my right side of my thoracic is the side of my sand dune. I'm going to put that hand on my shoulder. So the hand that is on the side of my sand dune goes to my shoulder. From here, I'm going to roll away from you. I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to push it towards that wall. I'm going to try and reach that wall behind me. From here, I'm going to try and get my spine down. And then I'm going to imagine I have piano keys vertically on my upper ribs there. And I'm going to put down key A, key B, key C, key D. I'm going to hold this position. I'm going to push down my opposite elbow to get those ribs away from the floor. And I'm going to try and push my tide pool ribs into the floor. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Let's do this again. Roll towards the side of your sand dune. Hold that for a moment. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Inhale, pull, open up those ribs with air. Put your spine down. Put the first piano key down that's next to your spine vertically. Put the next piano key down, and the next, and the next, and the next. Inhaling Exhaling. Once again, inhaling. And exhaling. We're going to do this twice more, but I just want to give you a little peek at what I'm talking about here, just to make sure that it's clear. Here's my spine. Here's my first piano key running vertically right next to my spine. The second piano key is next to it. The third piano key is here. The fourth piano key is out at the edge. So that when I'm rolling down, I'm going to get my spine down, and then the first piano key, the second piano key, the third, and the fourth. Because you might have noticed, maybe it's not the case for everybody, but on the hollow side of the back, those ribs don't always come into contact with the mat. So we're trying to very systematically get them down on the mat. So let's just do it twice more, and then we'll go back to our plank series. So you are going to be on your back. The leg that's opposite of your tide pool is straight. Opposite arm is on the shoulder, and then your hand is to the sky. Go ahead and roll away and towards the arm that's bent. Inhale, open up those ribs, and get the spine down, and then piano key 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exhaling here, keep those ribs open. Inhaling. Exhale, roll. Inhale, open those ribs. Get the spine down. Get the first piano key, the second, the third, and the fourth. That should all happen on a super long inhale. Now you exhale, and you try to keep the ribs there. How was that? It's not that easy, but it comes. Go ahead and bend the knees, and then just give it a little wiggle. Give your spine a little wiggle here. All righty. Go ahead and rock yourself up to sitting. And then from here, let's go into prayer pose again. So it's our quadruped type plank position. And quadruped, like a push-up position, is super hard with scoliosis. So we're trying to make some variations here that work well for us. I'm going to tuck my toes under. My fingers are on the mat, and I'm going to keep my sticky fingers reaching. Now, you can continue to go back and forth just like we were doing earlier, because that's super good. Nice long stretch, especially if you're feeling this in your quads, right? If you're feeling this in your quads, then I would probably recommend that this is the move for you. If you would like to try something new, we're going to stretch through the spine. So I feel a lot of stretch in my upper back here. And then once I feel that stretch, I'm going to lift my knees off of the mat and come down. I go forward, I come back, my stomach is pulling like crazy towards my spine. I lift the knees and I come down. I go forward, I come back, I pull the stomach in like crazy. Good job, everybody. Lift the knees if you'd like and come down. Now what you don't want to do is lift the knees, right? Because now my dolphin tail is in the air. I'm trying to keep my dolphin tail in the water. Knees down. And we go forward. Nice long stretch. And lift the knees. Dolphin tail stays in the water. Your knees go down and you go forward. And you come back. Good job. You lift the knees. You come down and you go forward. And you go back. Nice long spine stretch first. Don't leave the spine stretch out. Once you have the spine stretch, then lift. Then come down. Then go forward. Super. And then back. Lift, lift, lift. And down. And I have good news for you. You have one more to go. Back. And lift. And down. And forward. Good job. And come back. I don't know if you can hear Gus groaning in the background, but he's happy that exercise is over too. All right, so now let's go back to the side planks. We are going to use your wall here. So if you can put your feet up against the wall, it's going to look like this. Let me move my wedge out of the way a little bit. So down you go. And I need to get into a position where my feet are flat on that board. So I'm standing on it. My heels are down and my toes are down. The ball of my foot is evenly placed on that wall or on that board or whatever you might have there. If you don't have anything and it's too inconvenient to go get something, then your feet are just floating in the air right now. And then when you watch the recording, then you can try it a different way. So here's your wall. We're in our side plank again. Our ribs are reaching for the mat. And these ribs are the side of my hollow, the side of the tide pool. My arm is reaching up on the side of my sand dune. And I'm going to snug my shoulder into the joint, and I'm going to bring my ribs closer to the spine on that side. But as that happens, don't let your feet move around, right? Those feet need to stay strong and steady into the wall. So we have a nice closed chain position, and it's a challenge. So from here, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to lift that top leg and then bring it back and stand on it. Lift that top leg, bring it back and stand on it. Lifting and stand on it. Nice job, everybody. Up. Bring those ribs close to the spine here. Lifting and stand. Lifting and stand. As you're doing this, try not to turn the toe to the sky. Keep your toe facing me. And ideally, I can't see your heel because your heel stays hidden behind your toe. Sometimes it almost feels like you're leading with the heel to the ceiling. Last time. Up. Good. Bend both knees. So we're going to bend the bottom. We're going to bend the top. And we're going to release the spine. So a little, my friend calls this basking seal, which I love. So back and forth. And we have 3 more. So 3 and 2 and 1. And then stretch the top, stretch the bottom. And then from here, you are going to take the top, oh, I'm sorry. Got a little confused here. Bend the bottom leg so it comes off, and then you turn that toe to the sky and you come down. Turn the toe to the sky and come down. Keep this top leg firmly into the wall. It shouldn't be sliding around. You should be standing on it. Good. Good job. Let's do 5 more. 5 and 4. This shoulder can snug into the shoulder joint, or you can keep it on the floor as a kickstand like I was just doing. Did I lose count? I'm pretty sure I did. Let's do 2 more. 2, stomach to the spine, and 1. Nice job, everybody. Let's go back to your basking seal. Here and down, and 2, and down, and D, da-da-da, and D, da-da-da. Good job. Okay, so go ahead and come on up to sitting, and we'll go to the other side. So most of us only have one wall that we're working with here, like I do. So my back is going to be to you this time, but I will try and yell out enough that you'll be able to hear me. So both legs go up on the wall again. I'm on the side of my sand dune, so my ribs are not going to touch the floor on this side. Both feet are on the wall, firmly on the wall. And my arm is going to reach over my head here. So this is my start position. And my stomach is close to my ribs are close to my spine. So don't let your ribs try to reach the wall in front of you. They're coming towards your spine. From here, take the top leg off, bring it back and stand on it. Up, come back and stand on it. Up and down, and up and down, and up. Keep going here. And stand on it. Up and down. Let's go 5 more. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Stand firmly on both legs. Take 2 breaths. Inhale, open up the hollow ribs. Exhale, keep them open, just like we did in the piano keys. Inhale, open up those ribs on the hollow. Exhale, keep them open. Bend the bottom leg. Push into the wall with the other leg. And then you're going to rotate and come back. If you need to put your hand down on the floor in front of you as a kickstand, please do. So open and drop, and open and drop, and open and drop, and open. Let's do 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bend both knees. And you are going to do your basking seal. Open and open. 3 more. 3 and 2 and 1. Great job, everybody. Come on up to sitting. We'll be facing each other again. Okay, so now from here, let's change the theme a little bit, give our backs a little break from that. And let's go on to just taking your arms out in front of you. Sitting cross-legged if it's comfortable, otherwise sitting on a wedge or something similar to get you up off the floor a little bit. Arms in front. And drop the shoulders behind you and then reach your fingers towards me. So this is basically our letter H, right? So when we're lying on our back and we're reaching our hands to the sky, and then we're just dropping those shoulders back into place again. And we reach the hands to the sky, and then we drop the shoulders back into place. 3 more. So forward and back, and forward and back, and last time. Good work. Okay, from here, bring your right arm back. I always say right and left. Let me change that. So from here, I want you to bend your elbow on the side of your sand dune. So locate your sand dune in your high upper back. Bend that elbow, okay? And hold that there. And the other arm comes down to your knee. So as you come down to the knee, don't sink into that side because that's the danger here. Reach up out of that side. So reach up, up, up. Hold that position and then go forward with the other arm and back. When you come back, take these ribs forward on the same side. These ribs go forward like there's a little sunshine here. Bring them forward. You go forward and you come back. You go forward and you come back. You have 1 more. Forward as you come back, take the sunshine forward. Good, hold that there. Take the other arm up. As you go down, spread the ribs apart in the back. You know how we were doing with the piano keys. So you go forward, spread the piano keys apart. Good job. Forward and spread the piano keys. And last time, spread and the piano keys. Go here. Hold this. Now we're going to add a little more breath to it. So we're going to inhale forward, open the left or open the piano keys. Exhale, the chest comes forward. Inhale, open the piano keys. Exhaling, open the right side or the side of the chest, but don't close the piano keys. And reaching forward, inhaling. Exhale, keep the piano keys open. Inhaling. Exhale, keep those ribs open. Twice more. Inhaling. Exhale, ribs stay open. Last time. Inhale and exhaling. Good. Give it a little wiggle, and then we'll do the other arm. So I don't know if all of you have experienced this, but frequently with scoliosis, and just for people who have back pain in general, the more you move, not to be ridiculous about it, but the more you move, the more the blood flow goes through. So what I find, and the reason we wiggle so much in this class, is that if things become too static, then the blood flow might not be going as much as we need it to keep the oxygen going to the tissues. And so we want these nice static positions to help us control what we're doing, but we need to get the blood flow moving in between. Like a scoliosis dance. All right, so now from here, letter H, bring both shoulders back, bend the elbow on the side of the convexity. And then the other side, the other hand is going to come down. And I want you to imagine you're pushing through water. And as you push through water, it's going to help those ribs open, open, open behind you, right? And so as I push back, I open those ribs up. They're really stretching apart here. If you need to put one hand low and one hand high and feel that stretch, then go for it, right? And so from here, we go down and stretch those ribs apart. 2 more just like that. Stretch those ribs apart. Kind of ignoring the other side at the moment. 1 more like that. Forward, stretch those ribs apart. Now, let's combine those 2 actions so that we're not ignoring this side, okay? So letter H, open up the sunshine. From here, keep this open, stretch those left ribs apart while keeping this open. It's going to really limit your range of motion. And that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it right. It's just not going to be a giant move. That's all. 2 more. And spread the ribs apart. And going forward, last time, spread the ribs apart. Good job, everybody. Give it a little wiggle. And let's go back through our series of planks again, okay? So we're gonna just make it a little harder each time because it's super fun that way. But be sure to take care of your own body and that you don't take the next step if the previous step felt like it was a good place to be today. So let's go back to our prayer position. And then from here, we're going to go back into the elongated pose. So we're stretching those ribs. Sometimes this is like like a child's pose, and then coming forward. And then going back, pull the stomach to the spine, really get a lot of lengthening in those ribs here, and going forward. Last time, pulling back and hold it. Now this is the one where we lift the knees. So up we go. And then from here, we're going to take the shoulders over the hands in front, and we're going to bring the knees back. And then we put the knees down, okay? So we go forward, and we stretch, and we lift. We take the shoulders over the hands. We take the shoulders or the hips back. We put the hips down, and we elongate, okay? We lift the hips up. We take the shoulders forward. We take the shoulders back, elongating. Put the knees down, elongate a bit more. You've got a few more to go. Knees up, shoulders forward, shoulders back, hips down, stretching. You lift, shoulders forward, shoulders back, knees down, hips reach. Knees up, shoulders forward, hips back, knees down, and reach. Last one, knees up, shoulders forward, hips back, knees down, and you reach. Good job. Give those fingers a good shake. And bend and straighten them. Ooh, mine are stiff. So maybe I would have done better if I'd been on my fists because they're fine. It's a lot of work. It's not a bad thing to strengthen the fingers either. Definitely will help with arthritis, but don't do it all at once, right? Okay, so from here, let's go back to our side planks, and we're going to change it up this time a little bit. So we're going to start on the side of our sand dune this time. And we're not going to lie on our sides. We're actually going to be on our elbow, okay? So I'm on my right elbow. My right thoracic is the side of my sand dune. And then from here, I want to be super careful not to go into my Cleopatra pose here. I'm staying really, really lifted. I'm going to lift my hips up, and I'm going to carry my hips forward towards you. My butt muscles are really super squeezing now. I go back and I go down. I lift up. Now, if you're having a shoulder issue here and you'd rather do this from the floor, let me demonstrate one more like this, and then I'll demonstrate the one without the weight being on the shoulder, okay? So those of you who are doing this version, you keep going. If you'd like to do a version where the shoulder gets a little bit of a break here, you're going to straighten both legs. And the purpose of that last exercise is to squeeze those glute muscles. So both legs are going to be straight, and you are going to start with your feet parallel. You're going to squeeze the butt muscle, the feet will turn out, and then you'll come back here. Squeeze the butt muscles. Good. No matter what version you're doing, you have 4 more. So you have 4, and you come back. Those of you who are on your elbow, you lift, you reach forward, and you come back. And squeezing, and you come back. Last time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And back, and down you go. Okay. Planks, I don't think I mentioned this, but planks tend to work your abdominals, your spine at about 40% capacity, which is actually quite high. I know that might not sound high because it's not 100%, it's only 40%. But you know, when you do sit up after sit up, you know, the ones where you reach all the way up and come all the way back down, teaser, if you're familiar with Pilates, roll up, then that's working your abdominals at like 60, 65%. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck when you do side planks, this type of work. It's not easy. It's not easy. Well, you know that because we're doing this. All right, so now on this side, if I were to go into Cleopatra, it's not such a horrible thing because this is the side that my ribs like to close on and be hollow. So this opens them a little bit, but I'm not going to push into it because it's not going to be good for my low back. I'm just going to not hyper focus here. So from here, I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm going to carry them forward so my butt muscles are squeezing. I'm going to come back and I'm going to come down. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to go back and down. And one more like this. And now if you'd like to, keep going with that one. And I'll demonstrate the other one. We're here. We start legs parallel. And we squeeze the butt muscles to open the legs into external rotation, and we come back. And we squeeze, and we come back. And the rest of you are lifting, hips go forward, hips go back, and you go down. Good job, everybody. We're going to take 4 more. So no matter which variation you're doing, it's 4 more. Squeezing the butt each time and coming back and trying really hard. If you have to put your finger in your butt muscle, see if it's activating, then put the finger there. Sometimes a little tap can go a long way. So squeezing and then back and then squeezing. I think that's 4. From here, we didn't do it on the other side, but let's go ahead and do it here. Just a little basking seal action. Good job, everybody. Good. Come on up to sitting, and let's see how we're doing here. So I'd like to do a little bit more. Yeah, we have plenty of time. Okay, I wanted to go back to the original side of the side plank. So we're going to go back to the right elbow again. And this time we are going to do a little bit of leg action to go with this, all right? So I'm going to start with my hand on my hip. I'll show the other variation in just a moment. We're going to go up and we're going to go out. I'm going to keep my butt squeezing here, and I'm going to take a little clam while we're here. All right, so we're going to open and we're going to close, and we're going to open and we're going to close. Keep going here if you like this variation. If you're not super crazy about that variation, then you're going to come down and you're going to open. The top leg comes in and you take the knee to the floor, and then you squeeze the butt to open. and you close it. My toe stays on my knee the entire time. I go across and I come here, and I go across and I come here. So both exercises are serving the same purpose. Both exercises, both variations, we have the stomach working like crazy, front and side, and we have the back working like crazy. And on both variations, we've also thrown in the hip muscles. Yay for the hip muscles. Good. From here, coming back down, little basking seal. So you've got 3 of these, 1 and 2 and 3. And then go ahead and rock yourself up to sitting. And let's go to the other side. So we'll start up on the elbow if you're up for that. Otherwise, start right away down on your side. And we're going to go up and we're going to go forward. We go forward so that these butt muscles are activated. Back here, not so much, right? So make sure your hips are coming towards the camera. And then from here, from here, we're going to clam and close the clam. And clam and close the clam. Good job. Open and closing and open and closing. And keep going here and here. And if you're on your side, open and close, open and close, open and close, open and close, open, close. 3 more, because you know I can't count. And 2 and 1. Good job, everybody. Little seal action. 1 and 2 and 3. And let me look at my notes real quick and see if there was one I really wanted to do that I left out. Okay, looks like we're okay. So let's go ahead and grab the K1 or K2. If you don't have the large wedge yet, then just grab like a bath towel and just fold it up and put it underneath your hip. So I would fold it up like once it's in its little square, you might fold it 1 more time. And just get a little lift underneath your hips. That's all we're after. Okay, so from here, I'm going to put my hips on the top ledge and my head is going to go down the wedge. And I'm going to imagine that I have my running shoes on, right? So that my shoelaces are on top of my foot here. And I want my shoelaces to be on the mat. See, so I'm not going to be here. I'm going to actually put my shoelaces on the mat. And I'm going to put my hips here and my shoelaces down. And I'm going to reach my arms really, really long here. So you'll have your hands on the floor, which is actually better than where I'm at right now. So press your shoelaces down and bend the knees and press both hands into the floor and then relax everything. So this is your letter X. Shoelaces and hands press. You relax everything. Shoelaces and hands. And then you relax. Good job, everybody. Shoelaces and hands. And relax. Twice more. Push and relax. Last time. Hold this. Now we're stretched in our letter X. Hold this. Push your hands into the floor. Pull with those hands so that your head has to float off the mat another centimeter and your head reaches away from your shoulders. And then relax. Push into your letter X. Push the hands down. Pull the hands towards you. Reach the head away. And relax. Push the head and push the hands and the feet down. Pull the hands so the head reaches away. And you come back. We're going to do it 1 more time and we're going to hold it there. So push and pull. From here, pull the tide pull back. So inhale, open the tide pull. Exhale, keep it open. Inhale, open the tide pull. Exhale, keep it open. One more time. Inhale, open the tide pool. Keep pressing the hands, keep pressing the feet. Exhaling. From here, rest your forehead on your hands. Bend the knees. And then just wiggle the knees back and forth here. So back and forth and back and forth. Just let those feet go. Good job, everybody. From here, stand on the toes, not the shoelaces. Push through the heels. Bend the knees, point the feet, bend the knees. Straighten the legs, stand on the toes, push through the heels. I'm resting my forehead on my fingertips now. Point the feet and the toes go to the sky. Flex the feet, you stand on the toes, you reach your legs. We're just doing a little nerve glide for the legs here. So you point and you stretch and you push through the heels. And you bend and you point and you stretch and you push. One more time. Pointing, stretching, flexing, pushing. Hands down by the sides like a goalpost, so they're this shape, right? But down on the floor. Push down and reach your head away and relax. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, back down. Inhale, reaching and back down. Last time. Reaching and back down. Okay, everybody, come on off of the K1 or K2 or the towel and come on up to sitting. Everybody doing okay there? Okay, come to sitting. We're going to finish the same way we started. So legs are crossed. And from here, let's rest the hands on the knees. And the spine is getting pulled straight to the sky. And everything else is melting away from the spine. Everything from the ears to the jaw, to the shoulders, the elbows, the hands, and the knees. Everything's melting away from the spine. Only the spine is being held up. Inhaling. And exhaling. Everything melts away from the spine. And a couple more. Inhaling. Exhale. Everything melts away from the spine. Last time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Okay, good job, everybody. Okay, so it's question answer time.